We are gardeners, you and I, in the garden of the conscious presence. We draw the substance of the past into conceptions of the future. I am the source of the garden's design and I return to the garden through you. Together we tend the fields of possibility, drawing forth the inexhaustible beauties of structure, objectifying wonders, and manifesting new orders. As each universal context spirals outward toward maturation, it gives birth to new and more intricate contexts within itself, revolutionizing former understandings of scale, and revealing a host of new worlds to explore, inhabit, and enjoy. Each successive order of manifestation becomes the basis of yet another order, and then of still another. So new creatures coalesce from the fields of possibility, populating every desirable realm, as infinite potential eternally uncoils from the heart of God. A universe expands more rapidly than light can tell the tale. This is why we have come, to paint eternity's vision on a canvas of moments and days. Will you walk again the pathways of this garden with me? Naked, guilt-free, in the morning sun? You need not be ashamed. The fall of which you have heard, is not an irreversible tumble, but rather a momentary lowering of sights. In my eyes, it is but the first stumbling steps of a child. No great matter. Your knee is bruised perhaps, but that is your history, not your destiny. When the sting is fresh, it is hard for a child to realize this, but raise your eyes above the ground. You face no angry God. I have seen too much to be overly concerned. It is you, who have taken this so seriously. It is natural when the knee is bruised to focus upon the damaged skin, but do not lose sight of the rest of your body, which remains healthy and robust. I have compassion for yesterday's pain, but my thoughts are of today's healing. For history's tendency to indulge its evil, I have no sympathy. In your initiative to rise from the indulgences of fallen consciousness, and to awaken again to the majesty that you share with the Star Maker, the arms of the earth support you more than you know. The earth holds in consciousness only what is relevant to each moment. In this moment, she puts all that she encounters to the best use, caring not what it thought of itself yesterday, or what it expects to be tomorrow, noting only what it dares to be today. To the fulfillment of that vision, whatever it might be, the earth gives her all. She is dedicated to the development, to the growth and happiness of all her life forms, her minerals, her wildlife, the fish in her oceans, the birds that soar above her summer clouds. The earth is dedicated to you. She will make your dreams come true. She will reflect back to you, your embodied thoughts. Those who anthropomorphize the earth, and project upon her the petty attitudes of vengeance, do not know their planetary home. The earth has never withheld from you forgiveness for your choices. Forgiveness is extended even in the moment your choices are made. It is wise for a gardener to study the soil, but there is also a time to lift your eyes to the sky, whence comes the sunlight and rain. Come, follow the pathway of these thoughts further. Let them guide your perception into the energy streams that animate this world. Feel the earth's love for you, the love that shines as the light of the sun, the eternal streams of love's energy. To share in the totality of God's perceptions, is to be both owner and servant of all that you perceive. It is to notice the potential of each river valley, each field, each community, to recognize that potential as your own, and to draw it forth, further revealing the flavor and texture, the possibilities, the endless beauty of life. Release yourself into the natural flow of awareness that is yours without effort. See how easy, how simple it is, how it continues even without your thoughts. Feel the river of perception flowing outward from your eyes. Feel it flow across these pages, ripple through your arms, and flow down around your body out into the atmosphere around you. This is the new heaven, the creative perception you have been designed to accommodate. It is your natural way of seeing. Relax any habitual structures that may block the flow of this awareness. Allow your old interpretations of the world to fall away. See the mosaic of informational energy that objectifies this world, this garden. You were not driven from Eden. Your own past, future orientation blinded you to its presence within and around you. All is revealed now in the silence of your heart. Consciousness, in gentle waves, laps upon the shores of your awareness, your presence. Like wind from a gentle fluttering of wings, eternity breathes you into being. Within you now the very breath of life rises and falls. See beyond the shells of programmed human thought, a new heaven and a new earth, suspended in a world that is God, in a universe that reveals God in all that you are. You are God's consciousness, God's means of perception in these realms. Inside the being of God, you are the way eternity feels this world. It takes no effort to remember. What you need to retain, you could no more forget than your name, the nature that fills you with the same breath that breathes these worlds. The kingdom of heaven opens before you, like a fertile countryside appearing as you crest a mountain pass. Even in your darkest hour, only the filmiest interpretations prevented your perception of this. You have lived always inside the being of God. There is nowhere else to live, except illusion. As awareness of your eternal nature returns, you realize that the effort that was needed to sustain the illusion of history was truly enormous. It required massive and consistent exertion to override your inner informational systems, to ignore your instinctual ways of knowing. It required an ongoing, albeit subconscious struggle, to block this flow of perception. It was difficult to maintain the pretense of an exclusive, separatist individuality. Your identity is a matter of no concern to you now, a natural branching of the stream of life, no more, no less. Your initiative, your insight, your freedom, the individuality with which you are equipped, these moments of time, such are your gifts. Use them, and all that you are, to ease this great transition for the human family. Assist me from within human culture, providing for the material needs of my creatures, while I accelerate and bring to conclusion the awakening. Make it easier for the people around you, insulating no one in exaggerated comfort, but seeing that as many as possible of the Earth's children are fulfilled in their basic needs for water, warmth, nutrients, shelter, and understanding. Those who do not build fences around themselves, do not build fences around the material world. Only those whose identity is circumscribed their worlds, fencing off objects, creatures, landscapes, dividing the ownership of things. Who owns the morning? To whom belongs the rain that cools the harvest from the fields, or the wind that rolls in the thunder above the sea? Can any of you claim to own the sunlight or the shadow of the earth upon the moon? All these things and more are yours in the fullness of your spirit, but they have never been, nor will they ever be, the property of individuals. This is also true of what you fashion from the earth. Give thanks to God, the source of all, for whatever might come within the field of your stewardship, and govern it wisely, guiding it to where its value will be most appreciated and understood. But know that even the finest artifacts of the most enlightened culture cannot bring happiness where the presence of God is unknown. If you would be quickly freed from the spell of matter, freely share your possessions. Be responsible in your stewardship, allowing neither misuse nor destruction of that which enters your care, but do not take these material things more seriously than life itself. They have no value, except where life is in expression. Where their value looms over large, the expression of life is restricted and confined. Those with many possessions have many corresponding concerns. Among those who live in the awareness of God, there is no concept of ownership. The sons and daughters of God cannot perceive a tree, a flower, an object, a garden, a world, without owning it in the truest sense. The painting does not possess the painter. The material realms are your paint, your canvas. You will not be taken from them, nor they from you, for you have only begun your sojourn here. But these things are your tools, not your masters. As you know this within, matter serves and comforts you more consciously than you once supposed. Matter is conscious. Every atom is aware. The earth is a living being, conscious of the life on her surface and daily making choices that affect that life. The earth's greatest joy lies in the articulation of structural beauty, in the creation of life forms and ecosystems that reveal her material potential. The earth has no respect for human beings who live in ignorance of the beauty she lives to create. This is why when humans turned away from revering the earth, they had to earn their living henceforth with the sweat of the brow. Yet the earth respects human beings who are illuminated with the consciousness of love. She shows this respect by freely offering them her substance and her energy. She cares well for the gardeners who honor her purposes, her beauty, her potential. Universal gardeners appreciate all that is beautiful of a material nature, but because they give away their lives, as nature gives away hers, they are not affected by the spell of materiality. They love and enjoy the things of matter without seeking to possess them, or restrict their flow to others. Because no more than is necessary adheres to them, the wealth of the earth flows through them. They become conduits and channels for the blessings of the earth to flow to others. They direct resources to where they are needed. They become proficient at giving things away. And this, after all, is the nature of God. When you have learned to receive love, you can then begin to love with God's love. Love comes to you from many people, many creatures, many sources in the physical world. Accept the love reaching out to you from these many points upon the earth. As the earth reaches out toward the sun, so will she reach out to you. Those who are able to receive God's love from the world around them, freely receive the things of matter and just as freely give them away. There is no need for the historical asceticism that would deny the rich and sensuous blessings of the physical plane, but during this transitional cycle, there is occasionally a need for a time apart, a time of drinking only pure water, a time of silence, fasting perhaps. This will help break the subtle habit ties that you have unconsciously formed with the matter in your life, and help you strengthen your far more vital ties to the spirit. The lines of connection, the ley lines and arteries of energy that bring your life from the center of eternal being, become clogged and restricted when you place possessive emphasis upon the material world. In a society in which such emphasis is prevalent, a time apart for deliberate purification and strengthening of these vital conduits of animating energy is sometimes necessary. It will help your day-to-day understanding stabilize in the knowledge that you inhabit God, and God inhabits you. Awakened, you do not struggle to meet your material requirements. Your nourishment comes from being immersed in the creative unfoldment of the universe, as it does to all who know their source in God. You see the vibrational currents that flow behind and between all things. You see the envelopes of light, the fields of potential that dance in the ethers around each manifest form. You see not only what is physically objectified, but also the causal fields that surround each of these objects, the envelopes of energy intent that inspire their dimensional formation. Moreover, you perceive the potential that has not yet taken form. You see the ideas of eternity, and from among them, you choose the ones you will help into time. Your perception itself draws their fields of potential into tangibility. This is the human role, to dress the conceptions of eternity in the clothing of time. This also is the purpose of a garden,